out there, peeps? Okay, recently I did an updated NESARA GESARA video talking about getting rid of income tax and abolishing the IRS, which is a hot topic for NESARA GESARA people. Now, we've heard about this talk before, but that was the first time they actually saw a bill on it. And that was after Representative Cawthorn said he was picking up the mantle. So I was happy to find it and bring it to you guys. So as usual, when it comes to NESARA GESARA videos, I try to go back to them and read the comments and answer any questions and respond to comments to the best of my ability. Before we get started, you got to smash that thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, and now is the time, go to our friends over at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you will get a free half ounce of silver. This was the picture I originally had on there, but I put this new one to IRS and put the Q&A on there, but that's Representative Cawthorn. So let's see what people have to say. Liberty, justice. I said from the beginning, when people got all caught up in asking whether such a thing as NESARA GESARA exists, that Trump was already promoting several of the measures listed on there, such as backing the currency with gold and silver, and also either limiting or getting rid of income taxes and the IRS. There were several others that he also talked about. It didn't matter what you call it. Once we got a Republican House and Senate, and if Trump gets back in as president, then we could pass some of these measures. Given how the country is sliding downhill, I think Republicans would do well in the midterms. Yeah, Liberty, I said the same thing when I first was doing my research on NESARA GESARA. All the other hokey pokey ones I didn't get too involved in. I don't care for all the stories about aliens and crap, clones and crap like that. I showed everybody this is the list that I focused on. I went down there and I said, how realistic is this? I said, actually, this is very realistic. Not only that, as I was going down this list, I noticed that a lot of these items had already been completed, or the process had been started once Trump got into office. So I was saying the same thing. I noticed that. I watched the NESARA list. I did listen to what Trump had to say, and he seemed to be touching on a lot of those. I'm not expecting somebody to come jumping out and go, hey, NESARA GESARA. To me, they're more likely to come out and call it a debt jubilee with government reform is more likely. Democrat analysts I read are really panicking to the tune of we could lose the Senate for a decade, literally, level of statements. Yeah, I don't hide the fact that I used to be a Democrat strategist, so I worked with Senator Reid. I still, in fact, talk to some of my friends who did stay in politics. We get on the phones and we gossip for a little while about what's going on. And yeah, absolutely. The Democrats are in more than panic. You got to understand that they got behind an agenda, this great reset. They know right now that they are getting their butts whipped. These midterms coming up. That's why they're trying to pass the John Lewis Voting Act. Interesting enough, I will share one of the things they are talking about. And there's so much panic that, are you ready for this? And I'm not even kidding. This is what they're discussing. I'm not making this up. They're trying to figure out who could beat Trump and the Republicans. Hillary volunteered herself into this whole arena. Nobody invited her. They don't want anything to do with her. She is bad juju for the Democrats. So they have been in heavy talks, trying to convince Michelle Obama to run for the Democrats. They think she has the best chance. Now, when I asked about what the true polling showed about Michelle versus Trump, they said Trump is still beating Michelle, despite what the media tells you. Trump is beating Michelle, but here's the other kicker. Are you ready for this? Not only are they bugging Michelle Obama to run for president, but they want her vice president to be Barack. Yeah. Barack's never been the vice president, and technically he can be vice president. They would be the first husband and wife team to take over the White House. I said, yeah, that seems like a Hail Mary pass to me, and I would not put it past them. I asked, do you guys know what the holdup is? Yeah, Michelle's not convinced she's interested in dealing with these people or politics anymore. She was happy to be out of it. I think there's a much bigger agenda. So you can anticipate that the candidate for the Democrats, especially, and I mean especially, if they get their butts whipped in midterms, yeah, there's no doubt that Michelle Obama is going to come out. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. I'm willing to bet on that. I don't think she would have a choice. I think they would make her come out and be president. Again, you have to understand there's a bigger picture going on, and some of you will get that, some of you won't. But yeah, that's how desperate they are. If they don't lose it for a decade, then there's something nefarious going on. Yeah, here's the problem that I have. These people, these Republicans and Democrats, they bump heads in the media and stuff, but the truth is they go out and have drinks, barbecue, hang around, marry each other's families. So don't fall for that. They're two sides of the same evil coin. Even though the talk is they could be voted out of power for about a decade, that's assuming that the Republicans don't find a way to screw it up. Also, don't forget the primaries have already started for governor in Texas. Looks like Rick Scott versus Doofus. What's his name? Beto or Dork. NESARA GESARA will be here before the midterms. All elections, all new government. That'd be nice. Pimpy, I thought they already closed the IRS and Treasury took over because the checks are signed by the treasurer of the bankrupt court and says U.S. Treasury on the checks. I'm not sure what checks those are. So yeah, actually, what happened was that the IRS is not closed. As a matter of fact, Biden wants to add in 30,000 new IRS agents. Yep. So it's not closed. Not only is it not closed, but Biden wants to expand it by 30,000 more agents. It's not that the Treasury took over the IRS. What they were talking about is that the Treasury was taking over a lot of the Federal Reserve duties. That was what it was. So it wasn't that the talk wasn't about the IRS being taken over by the Treasury. It was the Treasury taking over the Federal Reserve is what the talk was. But they did assume a lot of the duties, and it started to look like the Treasury was taken over. As a matter of fact, I actually was just reading an article about this. It says, is Treasury slowly taking over the Federal Reserve? The CARES Act has raised the Fed's fiscal actions to an entirely new level, further blurring the distinction between the Federal Reserve and the Treasury, as well as the distinction between monetary policies and fiscal policies. This goes back actually to 2008 when Ben Bernanke decided to purchase mortgage-backed securities to aid the housing market. And that's a no-no actually. But they did it anyways. I mean, they were really good at violating laws and nobody did crap to them. The Treasury and the Federal Reserve appear to be merging their duties. They should not be, but they appear to be because of the moves made by the Treasury when they started doing quantitative easing. And this has been going on now since 2008. Let's prove income tax is illegal anyways and get this in. I would love not to have to pay federal taxes. Just think of how our paychecks would look. Yeah, I mean, I'll take it. If we could just do taxes on sales on non-essential items, I would be happy with that. We are getting taxed to death. What happened to taxation without representation? I have not paid federal or state income taxes for years, nor do I pay property taxes. I don't have a driver's license or vehicle registration nor license plate. I do not get traffic tickets. You have to be an American state national. You have to change the status of your citizenship. I've heard about that, Nathan. I've actually watched a couple of people do that. I've seen them get away with the license plate thing and not having a license. I've seen those. But as far as taxes are concerned, I've heard a lot of people preach that you don't have to pay your taxes. And this lady was an IRS agent and she didn't pay her taxes and she challenged the IRS in court. Now, mind you, she was an IRS agent, a lawyer actually for the IRS. And she quit the IRS and she challenged them on taxes. And she ended up doing 3 years in jail for tax evasion. There's only one person I saw ever actually beat the IRS in court. Then he started teaching people about what he did, and then he woke up dead one morning. Not sure how that happened. It doesn't make a difference what the laws are, only to people who follow them. But then you can also go along with the fact that the Federal Reserve is unconstitutional, which it is. Also the fact that the Constitution says that no outside person or entities should be dictating monetary policies to the United States. That's forbidden, but yet we take our orders from the central banks and the Bank of International Settlement. So, again, the laws are only as good as people follow them. And since we allowed the government to get so powerful, they're starting to get to a point where they're not easy to stop. Can't wait. I hope the IRS will be done this year. That'd be nice. I owe a ton as well. If you're paying taxes, you signed up to do so. Anyone could change their voluntary election to non elected. If you were born in one of the United States, you can file a W-8BEN with your employer. The W-4 is where everyone makes the mistakes. This is a voluntary tax form. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. On there it says that you're doing it voluntarily. I have to look into this. So let's take a quick peek because I'm curious. So it says right here, form type, intended uses. So W-9 is an entity or individual that is a resident in the United States for tax purposes. Okay. A W-8BEN, an individual who is not a tax resident in the United States and is the beneficial owner of income, not relevant for entities. Okay. Here's one with the E at the end. An entity that is not resident within the United States for tax purposes and is the beneficial owner of income. Yeah, I have to look into this more. That's interesting. So you guys, there it is right there. This is the W-8BEN. Look it up. I'll look into it. I'll dig into it. And if it's worth mentioning, if it's worth going over, I'll make a video about it. Kevin is sharing right here for those of you who are interested down here in the comments under Dan Schmuck. Under Dan Schmuck. I hope I said that right. Underneath his comment is this one here from Kevin, and he's got YouTube channels for it. Does this mean we are getting all our taxes we've ever paid back, like I have heard, because of illegal activities? I've heard that rumor several times, but there's not anything out there that I can find so far, but I haven't dug very hard either. In my general search, I'll just say, I haven't found anything out there that supports that. That's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo as far as I'm concerned until I can prove it. But if I find proof that's the case, then yeah, I'll definitely share it. It's worth sharing, that's for sure. California for Trump. Oh, we're definitely here in the millions. There's no doubt about that. Small government, the more laws they pass on the big government, the more taxes they take. The smaller with less laws, the less taxes the government takes. I wouldn't mind paying just one tax. I hear that. When talk is cheap and results matter, we are still let down by both. Nothing burger is getting old. Yeah, again, they're two sides of the same coin. You did get caught up in it, Pimpy. You really do so, switcheroo. Which part? What did I say? Yeah, I mean, all my NESARA GESARA videos, I only talked about those things that I can prove. I didn't get caught up in all the other stuff. There's some things in there I was excited about because I can see that they were actually happening at the time 45 was in office. So that's why I'm going back to do an update on these. It will happen. We need less government. Yes, we do. The IRS is outside of America. Its jurisdiction is not within the Union states, such as Michigan, Ohio, and so on. This information is within the CRF tax code. The 1913 tax map clearly shows this. I would be happy to show you, explain how the IRS is only within the District of Columbia, the IRS only. That would be an interesting conversation. That would probably be a pretty good interview if you had a presentation. Yeah, let me go. Dan, if you're serious about this, reach out to me on Facebook. I'll try to do my best to check my messages. If you have all the necessary tools and resources to share with everybody and you want to talk about this, I'd be more than happy to do an interview on that. A buyback clause is included in Federal Tax Act. Delete act by fraud vitiates all the touches. Delete act by fraud. Fraud vitiates all contracts. Nobody sees this in the news, Pimpy. It can't be happening. Reduce taxes is nothing. We need tax abolish along with removal of IRS. NESARA is the way best. I don't disagree. My point was people who say it's a fantasy don't realize that Trump already introduced multiple of these concepts and talked about them when he was in office. Yeah, I mean, I can validate that. I told everybody when I did my videos, I said at the very beginning that not only in my research, not only did I find out that a lot of these have already happened, but a lot of these didn't even start happening until Trump got in office. So there's a lot of great information in here on taxes. I encourage everybody to come down and read these comments, and then go. They're leaving you the information where you could go look it up. So that's nice. I appreciate that everybody that's contributing. The more this is what I'm talking about. This is what I hope my channel is, where we come together as a community, share information that could benefit us. We don't have to agree on everything that we share, or we don't have to agree on everything that we say. It's just people's opinions. But when you have information like this that you can actually share, a website or a link, something, resources that can help other people benefit, then that's awesome. I appreciate that you do that. And if I can catch it, then I'll do what I can to do research into what you're talking about. And if it's worth it, then I'll make a video about it. I subscribed and pressed the bell for all notifications, but I'm not getting them. I constantly have to check your site to see if anything is available. Maybe you can tell me what I need to do in addition. Thank you. Nothing, Clarence. They do that. I tell everybody that they shadow ban me. They don't share my notifications. Nothing. You just have to. I make videos daily. Okay, if there might be a time where I take a day off, but if you see me not making videos for longer than a day, that's usually because I'm suspended. That's why if you go up here, I tell everybody, the link is down below in the description. Some people don't even realize what that means. So this is the description box. If you do show more, here is the websites to, if you want to buy gold and silver, it's there. Here's the information on HR 25, Amber Lawley. Some of these are my affiliates. But here's Pimpy's News Network. So usually what happens is if I get suspended by YouTube, then I post the videos here. Now it does cost $3 a month. It's not that much. $3 a month because I have to pay for the site and fees. All the rest of the proceeds go to Finding Life's Purpose. It's a nonprofit organization. So if you can't find me here or I'm on suspension, that's where you can find me. Until I'm off suspension, then I'll come back. Thank you, Pimpy. You are welcome. You're welcome. What's up, brother? Hope it's doing well. I'm doing pretty good considering the start of the year, man. That was a sucky beginning. Pimpy, also have a look at HR 24. This covers the abolishment of the FRS. So HR 24. Well, the HR 24 is a resolution to impeach Trump, so I guess it depends on what year you're looking at. But I know HR 24 because it deals with gold and silver. This is a video I did on a senator, Massey. I think it is. Oh man, I might be wrong, but the HR 24 is the bill in which they want the Federal Reserve audited. That's what that is. Lobbyists are going to be abolished. They should be. When I get to own my land and homes tax free. Yeah, the land belongs to God. I don't know what we're paying taxes on it. It's just another way to strip us of any kind of money. Pimpy, the IRS is already closed, so we have to, the humanity, know this. No, the IRS is not closed. Not only is it not closed, and I can tell you for a fact that it's not, because they're nailing me on a re-audited 3 of my years and said I didn't pay enough. Well, I didn't do the taxes, but they're definitely there and alive. And again, I told you not only that, but Biden wants to add in 30,000 new agents. Let me repeat that. That's 30,000. 30,000 new agents. Good morning. Thanks, Pimpy. You're welcome. NESARA GESARA can happen. Well, sounds good, you man. If you follow the tax code, it's a wine tax? What? Don't tax my wine. They can propose all they want. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. Just talk. No, I hear you. There's a lot of proposals that get sent to committee and the committee does nothing about them. Usually what happens is when the Republicans submit something under the Democrats will just leave it there in committee and they won't do anything. They'll never pass it. When the Republicans are there, they do the same thing mostly as well. So it just depends on who's in there. Why are we still talking about this? It's as real as Q. Snap out of it, people. If they say it long enough, it will happen as a Q model. You don't hear talk about this very much, the 17th letter movement. I did a thing called Operation Trust and people lost their dang mind. I said, look, what's happening in this 17th letter movement is the same thing that happened under Lenin during the Bolshevikian wars. And as a matter of fact, they have their version, they have the 17th letter movement version going on over there in Russia. So, and there was a much earlier version of, I think it was a lady, she was exposed. She was called the White Dove, who was basically saying all the same things. The White Hats were in control. She got intel in the morning and she got exposed. She's like some 37-year-old lady in a trailer. Having said that, I'm not saying that it wasn't real, but it was very questionable to me what this movement was about. I supported it and I was all excited about it till all these idiots in YouTube started combining it with NESARA, GESARA and creating these phantasm stories and, about, the clones and everything. I was like, no, I'm done. I'm done, man. So the 17 letter movement, what they were about, I stick to those principles. NESARA, GESARA, again, I stay away from the crazy stories and focus mostly on the items because that's all that matters. But all the other crazy stuff, I can't tell you how many times I've debunked so much of the crap that's out there. The people are like, Pimpy's black hat, man. He's the shield. I was like, oh, good Lord. IRS is not going anywhere. And if it does, we'll have something worse. No, I hope not. With that kind of mindset, that's exactly the kind of world you would create for yourself. Please don't speak for the rest of us. It is. Wake up. Try researching NESARA, GESARA. We will have a smaller government out of DC. DC, defunct bankrupt corporation Inc. Same as Palace and Vatican. We are the new republic. Trump signed the new declaration July 4th, 20. What the hell are you talking about? Oh God, is this one of those crazy NESARA, GESARA stories? What is this one? You guys know about this? There's a new declaration. Yeah, it's funny how these people go, oh, all of this has already happened. But then you go, well, where is it? How come we're still suffering? How come we're still paying taxes? Why is the IRS still there? Why is this? Why is that? And they go, no, man, they're clones. Or, no, man, they have to play it out. They have to let it play out. I don't get all that. There's no reason for it. If you're going to create clones, like I said, you don't have to make the clones have the same mannerisms as the people they replace. Just have them go in there and pass laws that benefit all of us. Have them go in there and pass NESARA, GESARA. Why do you have to make clones that are just as evil and just as bad as the people they replace? I never can understand that. So there you have it. There is a bill there. And I feel really good about the idea that if they do take control of the House and the Senate in midterms and they can hold their positions of power, or like the Democrats right now struggling in the Senate. They have a tie and Kamala Harris has to come in and break the tie. But they're upset because Joe Manchin and Christian Sinema, which, by the way, if all goes well and we get out of this hell that we're in, history better remember that those two Democrats kept this country from going to hell in a handbasket. That's why you've seen Joe Manchin sitting with the Republicans during the State of the Union address. I don't know if anybody noticed that, but I was like, why is Joe sitting over there with the Republicans? So that's it for now. Hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel. And I surely do appreciate it. And I'll catch you later. I'm out.